Hey, what's going on, guys? Arekkz here. Today I want to talk about a game that I am super looking forward to, and that is of course Astral Chain. But it's not just me today. I'm here with Vestmore. What's up, buddy?
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good. The reason I'm good is because the other day, both you and I had a chance to go to Nintendo, of course. For those of you watching this, Nintendo normally do this after E3. They basically take some of the games they demonstrated at E3 and then let us play it in their UK offices. Always really cool. We got to play through Link's Awakening, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which there'll be some gameplay of later on the channel, Pokemon Sword and Shield, but we also got to see. We didn't get to play, unfortunately. I did ask them, I was like, hey, can I play? They're like, no. But we did get to watch an Astral Chain gameplay demonstration, and oh my gosh, like this game, it was crazy, right?
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
I've been looking forward to this trailer. Been looking forward to this game ever since I've seen the trailer. However, having seen the gameplay in action now, it's gone from a game that I was already super excited for to now probably one of my most anticipated games this year. And bear in mind, this year we also have Iceborne, Borderlands 3, and Link's Awakening remake. So like, that's saying a lot. So yeah, I mean, let me throw it to you first, Vest, because I mean, obviously, like, you know, I've been hyping this up. I've kind of spoken about this on the channel a couple of times in different videos. But what were because had you seen the gameplay from E3, or was this your first time seeing it being played?
This was my first time seeing it being played. Yeah, so it's quite an experience.
Yeah. Well, what kind of like before? I mean, we'll speak about some of the core things in a minute, but like, what just first impressions? What just jumped out to you?
I mean, it's through and through a platinum game, my friend. Like, literally, It just looks so good. It is hype. It's super anime. Like, it's just, oh my god. I don't know. Like, I just love the aesthetic. Like, I'm the lore guy, right? Like, I'm the lore 100%. Guy. Platinum aren't known for their lore, but by God, I'm gonna dig for some lore because just the world itself and just the setting we've seen, this kind of city. Like, and just the idea of these kind of like super powered like cops that have these like crazy like arm gadgets that basically give them like, you know, stands from JoJo. Like, I'm gassed. That's everything I love basically. So yeah, 100%. Like, I am fully ready for this game.
Yeah, I'm fully with you on that. Like the aesthetic for this is like, I mean, they've said that some of their inspirations are Ghost in the Shell, and Ghost in the Shell is like one of my favorite anime. It's one of the first anime films I ever saw. That and Akira, and those two really stick with me. And I get that. I get the sort of Ghost in the Shell and also sort of like Appleseed vibe. So you definitely have that. And it's but as you say, like it's through and through Platinum. I mean, Platinum are just so good at. When you see a trailer, before you even see the logo come on screen, you're like,
you just know.
That's a platinum game, right? And it's also, I mean, and even in the combat, which we'll speak about in a moment, but you could almost have sort of some of those Vanquish moments. Like Vanquish is one of those like underappreciated games, but that was such an incredible game. And dude. You get some of that Vanquish style, or just the Platinum style, I guess, into the game. But before we start talking about gameplay, let's just kind of like set the scene. So super quickly, it's obviously set in the future. You play as one of the two siblings in a police force, this kind of special police force. So there's like the regular police, and then there's like, I'm not sure, I forgot what they're called exactly, but you're basically the special police force that deal with these demons that have been coming into the world. Okay, cool, yeah, Neuro. So we play as them, and we also have a Legion, which is effectively one of the creatures that we have befriended or sort of like made our own, and we can then use them in combat. There are different legions you can get, which again we'll speak about in a moment. But one of the cool things that hit me first was because obviously when you look at the trailer, they show all the flashy stuff, right? So we know it's a hype game, we know there's crazy combat, we know there's crazy combos, but what we actually got to see before they even got into that was the kind of more police detective aspect of it, right? There was a part of it where I don't know if you want to like talk through like the whole sort of crime scene thing, but there was a part where we actually had to kind of solve a case, right?
Yeah, which honestly, just to step in, like that took me by surprise. I didn't really know. Like, I'm super hype about that as well. I love a good puzzle, and yeah, it's just that was really cool. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you don't like. I'm so used to. I mean, there are some slow moments, but I'm so used to Platinum games just being like adrenaline 24/7.
Yeah, like go.
Yeah, so I mean, like one of the you know, to paint the picture, one of these sort of situations, there was like a crime scene where obviously some of these beasts have come around, and we have to kind of go and look for clues. And then there's parts where you'll use your Legion for things other than combat. So, for example, I referenced like the police force from before, where you know they don't really like us. They think we're the kind of weird police force, so they will never speak to us. So we then like went away and then sent our Legion over. And to be clear, like Legions can't be seen by humans normally, so we can then use it as a means to like eavesdrop. So there's some interesting mechanics outside of just your Legion is like a hefty combat unit. And then afterwards, you know, when we kind of went around, gathered some tracks, sort of like saw some things and worked out parts of the crime scene, we then went and spoke to the chief, and he basically ask to give him a little rundown, and that's where the sort of puzzle aspect of it comes in, because he'll ask you questions and be like, oh, where do you think this beast came from? And obviously if you've gathered the intel, you can be like, oh, it came through the portal. And then, so there's some really like interesting aspects in between it, and I feel like that's actually, adds more kind of life to the world. It's not just run from point A to point B and hack things up. There's and that's definitely, I feel like it makes you appreciate the combat even more when you have these slow periods in between.
For sure.
So, kind of following on from there, obviously it's, I've kind of held out for long enough. We obviously need to talk about combat, because combat is the crazy stuff. So Vest, let me throw it to you first, because there's a lot of like cool things that you enjoy about this one, right? So if you've seen the trailer, you'll obviously know you control your character and you control your legion. So let's talk about that first.
Cool. So yeah, dude, combat for me is just insane. So it looks like this just dance essentially. You've constantly sort of got to be ready to move your operator, your character. You actually fight with them as well, obviously. They've not got as many kind of like bells and whistles as the Legion, but just using them in tandem is really like kind of the name of the game, right? That's how you be effective. One of my favorite things about the combat is just the ability, and I'm sure you guys have seen it plastered all over the trailers, but the ability to essentially like kind of like wrap people in the chain that links you and your legion. Yeah, and that just freezes them in place. And you can do that, from what I gathered, you can do that against pretty much any enemy, including bosses. Like obviously bosses like break out quicker, but still, if you're able to, wrap a boss up or like, kind of like lock them, I can't remember if there was like a name for that mechanic. But yeah, just literally, if you can do that, it kind of gives you like a split second of respite to kind of, get a couple hits in, which is really, really cool. Another really cool thing I noticed as well was if you time your dodges with your, I'm just gonna call them like your operator or your character, I suppose. If you time your dodges, you get like a little bit of like kind of like a bullet time effect, and that was kind of like, it wasn't as effective, but it was kind of reminiscent of like Witch Time from Bayonetta, which I absolutely loved. So hopefully there's some transferable skills there. But yeah, no, honestly, combat just looks super flashy. You've got these sync attacks as well between your legions, which are these special kind of link-up attacks you can do. And there's like a whole ton of them. So some of them have like different prerequisites. Like it will be like, okay, after this combo you can do one. Some of them require you to do a specific thing with your legion, etc. I think there was one where like you could like bounce, instead of wrapping them in the chain, you could like bounce an enemy that was charging between you.
That
like
was one of the.
That was so cool, dude.
That actually reminds me of like if you play Just Cause and then you like, use the cable and you basically put a cable across the road and then the car drives into it. But yeah, literally like the enemy was running towards him and as he's charging, he just sends the legion out. He's like, nope, and then you literally hook it, throw it back, slam it down on the ground. It's like, that is clean. That is so clean. Yeah, that, I mean, there was that bit was super cool. But one of the things that I lost my mind when I saw this, right? So they've always said up until now, you have the Legion. And we know of all the different ones we've seen in the trailer. So you start with the Sword Legion, just the regular one. You have like the Legion that has the bow. There's the one later on that turns into a dog. And I think there's supposed to be two more. I think there's 5 Legions. But normally they always kind of sell it as like you have one Legion out at a time. But there's this really cool thing you can do. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I think you mentioned it was like a chain rush or something. But basically, you're always linked with your Legion. However, there is a thing you can do in combat where you can break the chain, and temporarily that Legion is out fighting on their own, and then you can bring another Legion out. So you've got 2 on the field, and then you can start doing some nutty combos together. I'm like, wait, hold on a minute. So I can have like Sword Legion and Bow Legion, or later on I can have like Sword Legion and Dog Legion. Like, that was... I mean, that's Platinum all over. They're like, this is quite cool, this combat, but how do we take it to the next level?
Yeah,
I know.
Literally.
Let's let them have 2 legions. I mean, if there's a part, I so hope there's a part in like the boss battle at the end where you can like break the chain and get all 5 out, because that would be insane.
That'd be sick, dude. Oh my gosh.
That'd be so good. But yeah, so obviously, combat. It's crazy. Hopefully you guys can see some of the gameplay in the background. This gameplay is, of course, from the Treehouse presentation at E3. Again, sadly, we didn't get to play it or anything like that. But, it's coming out in August, so it's not too far away. But there's a few other things, like character customization is really cool. Oh, of course, yeah, there you go. That can be your birthday present.
Whoa! awesome.
But it's I mean this character customization, which is always nice and cool. You can either play as the male or the female, and whoever you don't choose basically becomes your sibling. So you play as brother and sister, which is cool. And one of the other cool mechanics, again, very very Platinum, being completely off and just like doing something random. You can also collect litter while you're around the town, because obviously you want to like, you're a police officer, but you want to make sure it's a nice world. So you go around picking up cans and you can then throw that in the bin. So
you get money
I feel
for
like
that.
yeah, you do, yeah. So I feel like there might actually have to be like a section where I just like upload like an hour of gameplay of me just picking up litter. So
the trash man. Trash man strikes back.
Right.
100%. I think there was like crazy like fines as well. Like there was you have to like actually abide by law. Like if you try and cross the road and you stay in the lanes while the lights go red, you get fined for it. Like it's crazy. Like.
Yeah, that's actually hilarious, especially when there's a situation where you're having to like pursue someone, you're actually having to run. You run to the traffic lights, you're like, oh no, do I get a fine or do I? Oh no. That was
hilarious.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing. But yeah, I mean, for the time being, that's kind of like initial impressions on our gameplay presentation. Again, obviously, I want to go hands-on. I want to kind of talk so much more about the game. But for the time being, that is a few things to look forward to. This is a game that 100%, if it's not on your radar, it needs to be on your radar, guys. Like this looks incredible. And if you like anything Platinum have done before, then this looks like it's going to be shaping up to be a very cool game. So rest assured, once I get my hands on the game, I'll be able to bring you guys some nice gameplay. But until then, that is it from us. So Vest, thanks for joining us, and of course,
thank you.
Don't forget to stay tuned for plenty more gaming videos. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.